Are you heading over to Mary's place again today? That's a lot for you. Just as I finished work, I got a call from my husband, Tom. I'm Betty. I'm a 40-year-old stay-at-home mom with a 9-year-old son, Jake, with my husband, Tom.
Yeah, well, she's my mom. She suddenly called today, saying she needed some help.
For the past year or so, Tom has been stopping by his hometown about 3 times a week after work. His dad passed away the year before last, so now his mom, Mary, lives alone, and her health isn't the best. Being the oldest son, Tom has been the one to help her out whenever she needs it. Do you want me to come help? I can make dinner or something.
You've got to take Jake to soccer, right? I'll be fine on my own.
Jake loves soccer and goes to practice at a sports club a bit of a drive away 3 times a week, and I'm in charge of driving him there and back. Yeah, that's true, but I still feel bad for leaving everything to you all the time.
Well, you handle everything with Jake, so thank you.
Tom also visits Mary a few times a month on weekend nights. I'm usually busy too, as Jake often has soccer games or events on weekends, and he likes to do extra practice, so I take him to a training field. I appreciate that Tom willingly takes care of Mary since it's hard for me to be there. But even though I can't visit, I try to help out financially, managing our tight budget to send Mary about $500 each month.
Mom said Betty doesn't have to come to help because she's busy with Jake.
I know, but still. Tom usually handles the phone calls. Because of that, I haven't spoken to Mary in over a year. Especially since Jake started soccer, we haven't talked at all. The club practice lasts at most 90 minutes, but it takes about 30 minutes to drive to the training field. It's a bit inconvenient to go back home in between. Luckily, my parents' place is only about 10 minutes from the club, so I stop by there, use their kitchen to make dinner, and head home with Jake afterward. After that, I quickly get Jake to eat, help him with his homework, and get him in the bath. By then, I'm exhausted, and we both fall asleep right away. Tom usually gets back from Mary's house around midnight, so our schedules rarely overlap. Is Julie not coming to help? Tom has an older sister, Julie, who's married with 2 kids and lives in the same city as Mary.
Julie's busy too. I guess her kids have piano lessons, tutoring, and all that.
The back and forth for activities is really a lot.
Why don't we send Jake to tutoring too? Not just soccer.
Tom suggested it casually, but it made me widen my eyes. It'd be too much for both our time and our budget.
Yeah, fair enough.
Tom chuckled and hung up. Since I was already busy myself, I didn't think twice about what he said. I've never experienced any kind of harassment or pressure from Mary as a mother-in-law. She's genuinely a kind person. She never interferes in my parenting, but she helps out in subtle ways and absolutely adores Jake. She's also a great cook, and she'd often make us a feast on weekends. But lately, she hasn't been feeling well and apparently can't cook at all anymore. So I don't mind sending her the extra money. Actually, with Tom regularly visiting and updating me, I felt reassured. Then one day, something unusual happened. Mary called me directly on my cell phone.
Betty, it's been a while. I have something important to talk about. Could you come by whenever you can?
Mary's voice sounded tense and different from what I remembered, which surprised me. I wonder what's going on at this hour. I felt a sense of unease. Tom was away on a rare overnight business trip, leaving Mary alone tonight. Is she in some kind of trouble? Since Jake didn't have practice that day, I told her I'd come over right away, grabbed Jake, and rushed to her house. When we arrived, Mary led Jake into the living room.
Jake, why don't you watch some TV? Betty, please come with me.
She then took me to another room. As I stood there, wondering if I should offer flowers to Tom's father's portrait, Mary suddenly apologized.
I'm so sorry. I feel bad for you, Betty, but I can't provide any more support. I'm living on my savings too.
I was so shocked I couldn't find any words. Mary, please stop. I managed to say. Support? What are you talking about?
The money I've been sending to cover expenses for your parents. I've been giving you about $500 a month, sometimes $1,000 through Tom.
What? We're the ones sending $500 a month.
Wait, really? Then, what's going on?
Both Mary and I were left utterly confused, with question marks swirling in our minds. Mary sighed.
It was about a year ago. Tom told me that your father had been hospitalized with cancer and that things were tough for you.
I heard the opposite from Tom, that you were unwell and needed financial support, and he's supposed to be visiting you to help at least 3 times a week?
Tom only comes by once a month, and that's just to pick up the support money.
What? We looked at each other in shock.
So, Tom has been lying to both of us.
We began to discuss everything we'd each heard from Tom. Mary said Tom had told her about my dad's illness, claiming we were struggling financially due to the sudden burden. I was absolutely furious. Not only that, but Mary had also given money for Jake's birthday and mine. I hadn't received any of it, and this was the first I'd heard of it. If only you had asked me directly.
Tom kept saying, Betty is busy going back and forth between her parents' place and the hospital, so she can't answer the phone much. I'll pass along your messages. He would tell me you were happy and thanked me, so I believed him.
I heard from Tom that you were in poor health and often couldn't answer calls. We both let out another sigh.
So, your father isn't ill then? That's at least a relief.
I heard you were having a hard time with health issues, but you're actually well, right? I was relieved, just like Mary, to hear that.
Of course, I'm perfectly fine. It's really insulting to be made out to be sick like that.
Mary gave a wry smile. Since Tom's out for work tonight, let's ask him about this later. Mary nodded.
As it happens, the day after tomorrow is the end of the month when Tom comes to pick up the support money. We'll discuss it then. Let's keep today's conversation between us so he doesn't make any excuses.
We decided to pretend we knew nothing until then. I acted casual when I got home with Jake, but inside I was seething with anger. Still, I told myself to hold back and stay calm for now. But I just couldn't shake it, so after Jake and Tom had fallen asleep, I slipped out of bed and secretly checked Tom's phone. Tom had always used his birthday as his passcode. I entered it just to try, and the phone unlocked. He'd been so sure that neither Mary nor I knew anything, he hadn't even bothered to change the passcode. I'm going to find proof of why you've been deceiving both Mary and me out of our money. Then, at the end of the month, I waited for Tom outside his office after work and insisted on going straight to Mary's house with him.
Don't you have Jake's practice today? Are you sure you don't need to go?
It's fine. I haven't seen Mary in a while, so why not visit? Tom kept asking, but I brushed him off. I'd already arranged for my parents to take care of Jake's pickup, and he was excited to show off to his grandparents. If we got back late, he'd stay the night with them. I didn't want him hearing any of this. Good evening. I rang Mary's doorbell.
Look, I can handle this by myself. Why don't you go to Jake's practice or, take some time for yourself?
Tom was throwing every excuse he could think of to keep me from going inside. He must have been worried his lies would be exposed if Mary and I talked directly. Tom, don't tell me you don't want me seeing Mary. I played innocent and gave him a little jab, which made him start making excuses.
No way, of course not. I just thought you might want a break.
He was visibly sweating. The more I saw how nervous he was, the angrier I got. This timid man had been lying to both me and Mary all this time.
I'm glad Betty came too.
Mary and Julie were there to greet us.
What? Julie, you're here too?
Tom looked surprised, but Julie calmly replied,
Yes, we have something important to discuss.
Once everyone gathered in the living room, I pulled some printed photos out of my bag. Hey Tom, who's this woman you're with in these photos? The other night, while checking Tom's phone, I found multiple photos of him at some nightclub, grinning alongside a beautiful woman. And it wasn't just one picture. There were several.
This was from a business event. My coworker took these photos. But Betty, why did you go snooping and print these from my phone? There's such a thing as respect, even between family.
Really? Then what about the fact that you've been lying to us for a whole year? Isn't that disrespectful?
I wasn't lying. I told you. This was for work.
Well, I've checked the dates on these photos, and they all fall on days when you were supposedly at Mary's house. And Mary told me herself that you hardly visit her at all.
Tom, explain yourself to Betty and Mom right now.
Under the glares from Mary and me, and with Julie pressing him, Tom let out a small, startled shout. Realizing he was cornered, he began confessing everything.
About a year ago, I went to this nightclub for a business event and ended up falling for one of the hostesses.
It turns out that the beautiful woman in the photos was a hostess at that club. Tom, smitten, had been visiting the club often, showering her with gifts and paying for meals, just as she wanted. Normally, if he'd been drinking, I would have noticed the smell, but Tom doesn't drink. He only ever has water, so there was no scent of alcohol, and I didn't suspect a thing. This is unbelievable. You were out there splurging on a woman with money you tricked out of both me and Mary, and on top of that, you lied about each of us being sick. I couldn't forgive him for betraying Mary's genuine concern for my family and for deceiving me all this time.
Tom, don't you have a heart? You took money from Mom, who's living off her savings, and lied to Betty too. How shameless can you be?
Well, I just slipped up a bit. I was looking for a little excitement. That's all.
Tom, are you saying you spent over $20,000 of the money I gave you just for that?
Mary looked as if she was about to cry. I felt all affection for him drain away. Just for excitement? A moment of weakness? Are you saying life with Jake and me is that boring? In its place, a fierce anger burned inside me.
No, that's not it. But, every day is the same. I just wanted a little thrill. Some harmless fun.
This so-called ordinary life is what happiness is. Don't you understand how precious these peaceful days are, Tom? I was so angry, tears started to fall. The more excuses he gave, the more disillusioned I felt.
Why are you so mad? I still love you the most, Betty. So isn't that good enough? I wasn't planning on breaking up our family.
It's not good enough. My voice was joined by those of Mary and Julie.
Tom, You're just too selfish. I don't think of you as my son anymore.
Mary shook her head.
You're really an embarrassment. I'm cutting ties with you as a sibling.
I can't stay with you either. I'm done. Let's get divorced.
What? Am I really that bad? I only lied once to go to a hotel for work. And it's not like I don't know she isn't serious about me.
With Mary and Julie disowning him and me declaring divorce, Tom's face turned pale. And yet, he still hadn't apologized, which made it clear just how hopeless he was. You lied, took money from Mary and me, fooled around with another woman, and now say you didn't want to break up the family? Do you hear yourself? I snapped at Tom.
They say cheating is like a sickness, and liars don't change. So, Tom, you're incurable, which means divorcing you is the right choice for Betty, and cutting ties with you is the right choice for us.
Where did I go wrong raising you? But you're a grown man now, so go on and live your life alone.
Mary looked down sadly. Julie put an arm around her, gently comforting her mother. I firmly confronted Tom with the facts he didn't know. Listen, Mary apologized to me, saying, I'm sorry, but I can't provide any more support. Are you not ashamed for putting your mom in that position? You trampled on both my trust and Mary's feelings. You've done something that can never be undone. And yet, you still haven't apologized at all. Hearing this, Tom finally seemed to grasp the weight of his actions. He slumped down on his knees, defeated. After that, Jake and I moved back to my parents' house. I wanted nothing more to do with Tom, so I handled everything through a lawyer, filing for alimony, child support, and an additional claim for the funds I had sent to Mary. We sold our house, and he paid the full amount in one go. Tom moved into some apartment alone, living by himself in solitude. With no money to spend, he couldn't go to the nightclub anymore and was apparently dumped by that woman. Jake was initially surprised by the sudden divorce, but he was thrilled to be closer to his soccer club now that we're at my parents' place, where he gets to practice more often. My ties with Tom may be completely cut, but since that incident, Mary and Julie and I have become quite close. As dear friends, we still keep in touch, and they're both planning to come watch Jake's soccer game next week. With my parents coming too, we're all excited to cheer Jake on together.